devil worship in France, are the question of Lucifer a record of things seen and heard in the secret societies, according to the evidence of initiates. Now, out of the 15 chapters here, some people are waiting, or maybe, for the female masonry. So here I am at female masonry. Some may prefer some other chapter. If you like any of the chapters, definitely watch the whole series. Last on the list of our recent witnesses who have had a hand in creating the question of Lucifer, not actually last in the order of time, but the least in importance to our purpose, is M.A.C. de la Rive, author of Child and Woman in Universal Freemasonry. He very fairly fulfills the presumption which is warranted by his name. He does not pretend to have come forth from the turbid torrent of Satanism and Masonry, which is carrying multitudes into the abyss and effacing temples and thrones in its furious course. He has been content, like a sensible person, to stand on bank or brink and watch the rage and flow. He does not tell us anywhere in his narrative that he is himself a Mason. He has no personal acquaintance with Satan. He has not been guilty of magic. By magic, I'm sure they mean evil magic, but people also like to use the term as, the practices of other faiths, of other churches, that's magic. But what I do spiritually, no, I don't brook hate speech like that. Nor has he assisted at a black mass. He belongs to a wholly different order of witnesses, and he has produced what is, in its way, a genuine book, which does not pretend to be more than a careful compilation from rare but published sources, which we can all of us defer to the erudition of a Frenchman who has actually spent on collecting his materials the almost unheard of space of 12 months. The result is correctly described as grand in octavo, 746 pages. That's actually similar to the length of the third book, which I'm going to close the month after a 4-day fast, and is really, my personal readings, and is really an inflated piece of Masonic chronology, exceedingly ill-balanced, but at the same time undeniably useful. Beginning with the year 1730, it is brought down to 894, and it is designed to demonstrate the existence at the present day of adoptive lodges, wherein French gallantry once provided an inexpensive substitute for Masonry, in which ladies had the privilege of participating. One of the most learned and illustrious of French Masonic writers, Jean-Marie Ragon, describes such androgyne or female lodges as amiable institutions, invented by an unknown person some time previous to the year 1730, under the name of mysterious amusements, which appears to describe them exactly. One cannot be otherwise than astonished at the extraordinary gravity of nervous and well-intentioned persons who ascribe themselves such tremendous importance. Now, from what I hear, the lodge dues, coupled with the initiation fees and maybe some of the things you'd like to wear to the ceremonies or have to wear as part of the ceremonies, but the lodge dues are tend to be less than gym memberships, from what I hear. Whereas they are the fringe of Freemasonry, writers like M. de la Rive persist in regarding them as its heart and center, while it is also in such institutions that he and others of his caliber expect to discover Satanism. A celibate religion ever suspects the serpent in the neighborhood of the woman. He discovers Satanism accordingly by reading it into handy passages and bracketing interpretations of his own when the text cannot otherwise be worked. Thus he gets oracles everywhere, and to compel Satan he finds the parentheses quite as useful as the circle of black magic. It is as a juggler's method, but among French entamasons it passes with high credit. By juggler's method, we have one of the terms related to sorcery, of the throwing chants into it. So sorcery comes from ritual drug use and throwing chants into that. But I just thought that'd be a side note to add there. The question of female Freemasonry, apart from the Palladian order, is quite outside our subject. Its existence in Spain is a matter of public knowledge, and I have Mr. Yarker's authority for stating that in certain countries, one of which is South America, the rite of Memphis and Mizraim, and the ancient and accepted Scottish rite, have both initiated women, the latter up to and including the 33rd degree. No adoptive lodges exist or would be tolerated in England within the jurisdiction of the Grand Lodge, and if it can be shown that the Palladian order initiates English women into Masonic secrets, that it is performed why can't I say that? Surreptitiously, in defiance of our Masonic constitutions as to the schismatic Grand Orient of France. Whatever may be done in secret or devised in public upon this point is of no importance here. But I should add that little credit, and deservedly, is attached in England to any of the so-called revelations which from time to time come over from Paris. As regards M. de la Rive, apart from this subject, we are unable to extract from his pages anything that is fresh or informing on the subject of our inquiry, despite the sensational picture which emblazons the title page, where a full-length Baphomet is directing decolleted Templar mistress through the pillars, Jachin and Bahaz, Yakin and Bahaz, from the Bible, the light and the dark pillar. There is not a single page in the whole vast compilation which shows any connection between Satanism and Masonry until towards the close, when an adroit tax is levied on the stiller, vaster storehouse of Dr. Bataille. So we have, Tanakanar, the Scarlet Pillar, and Talamia, the White Pillar, is what Nargargle Schlad has said in his Satanism. But again, symbols being the same, but also, come on, look at the Bible. Look at all that stuff in the Bible you're not practicing. So a men's club has picked up some of this stuff. It doesn't mean they're just satanic. Because whether religion or anti-religion, you're going on the same structures of consciousness, and the same sort of symbols of psychology and sexuality would kind of make their way into that. The author tells us clearly enough how adoptive Masonry arose, what rites were instituted, what rituals published, what is contained in these, and it is all solid and instructive. His facts, as already indicated, are borrowed facts, but they come from a variety of sources, and original research was scarcely to be expected from a writer whom the avenues of knowledge by his lack of initiation. He concludes, however, that adoptive Masonry is satanic by intention, and that even orphanages of the fraternity, Shriners Hospitals and that sort of thing, I don't know what they called them in the 1800s, but are part well, that's not an orphanage, but are part of profound and infamous design to ruin the children of humanity and perfect proselytes for perdition. Yeah, like they know the secret's intentions. It's like, I can't find any proof, but they must intend evil. The appearance of child and woman in universal Freemasonry was hailed with acclamation in the columns of the Revue Mensuelle. It reviewed it by dreary installments, and when reviewing was no longer possible, had recourse to tremendous citations. As a last effort, it supplied an exhaustive index to the whole work, a charitable and necessary action, for the 12 months' toil of the author had expired without the accomplishment of this serviceable means of reference, and still, as occasion offers, it gives bold advertisement. The quaint methods of previous witnesses are amplified by M. de la Rive. Like Dr. Batil, he tells us that the order of Oddfellows, though quite distinct from Palladism, is essentially Luciferian. Sounds like a good order, right? But he does not say why or how, instance of the demonstrative method. He regards the Jews with holy hatred as the chief ministers of Antichrist, and characterizes them as that nation of which Judas was one of the most celebrated personages. Specimen recipe for the production of cheap odium in large quantities. But what about Jesus, the Christ, whom men call King of the Jews? Yeah, there's look at my Vote the Antichrist Agenda video about how Jesus would be different from fundamentalist and conservative Christianity, and how they might consider him to be the Antichrist, and how maybe that would be a good thing in that context, Fille M. de la Rive, he informs us that Miss Alice Booth, daughter of General Booth, the founder of the Salvation Army, is one of the foremost Palladists of England. Instance of absurd slander which refutes itself. M. de la Rive must therefore, on all counts of his evidence, be ruled out of court as a witness. No one denies the existence of adoptive lodges in a few countries and under special circumstances, and no sensible person attributes them any importance. Freemasonry as an institution is not suited to women any more than is cricket as a sport, but they have occasionally wished to play at it as they have wished to play at cricket. The opportunity has been afforded them, but except as the vogue of a moment, it has come to nothing. It is moreover of no importance to our inquiry, if it can be proved that the true head of the Grand Lodge in England is the Princess of Wales, and not her royal husband, while concerning the existence of devil worship, M. de la Rive has nothing new to tell us, and nothing at first hand. I therefore ask leave to dismiss him, hoping that he will devote another laborious year to the reissue of Masonic rituals, authentic or not, and at the extremely moderate price which he has asked for his first volume. Originals are scarce and costly. An intervention is a pleasant faculty. The interpretation which he chooses to put on them is an interpretation of no consequence, and can never have misled anyone who is in any sense worth misleading. Now, as one may be able to tell, I'm sharing this stuff because, see, to expose the fact that, Alex Jones wasn't the first one notorious for his conspiracy theories and going to lengths that, well, Alex Jones gets a little bit more disgusting with some of his stuff, but apparently he's been caught with some particular pornography and stuff like that. So if there's other stuff of that area, that's why he's coming up with these these gay Illuminati sex ritual and whatnot. Actually, there's people screaming that on YouTube. If because I've been doing this, it's gonna autoplay me. I gotta remember to unclick autoplay because I don't want to step away from the computer watching something and sit down and some dude screaming about the gay Illuminati sex rituals he had to do and all that, and I don't want to hear about that. But Luciferianism. Why would Freemasonry be considered Luciferianism in a rightly sense? Well, Luciferianism is like the word philosophy. It really is. And what's this deal about intention? Whatever church you are, here's a set of symbols. Here's previously tried men's orders stuff that has been done for specific religions and stuff in the past, but here we're doing it again here today, and bringing all this, Israelite temple, maybe even Jewish stuff, particularly in Jewish lodges, and Christian ideas, and mixing a little stuff in there, but you don't necessarily have to believe in one church or one faith or whatnot of another. You go there, and if you're accepted in the lodge, you go through the shock and awe of the different types of, stimuluses of rituals. So if your intention is, your personal psychological development, and the the secret of initiation is initiation. So you might be blindfolded. Some initiations in some areas. Not talking about the Freemason ones, because but you could go in a dark room, and things are supposed to happen in that dark room. Maybe they have some way to interact with you in that dark room. Maybe you interact with your own psychology, your own spirit. You might be buried, per se, alive in a box. Power, strength, authority, right? But you're bringing out your own experience. So that's what the intention is. It's Luciferian in bringing out your own intention. You're bringing out light, sharing with your other brothers who have brought out their light through the practices of the fraternity. But does that negate their role in whatever faith they're a part of? No. Does that mean they have to be opposed to any particular faith? No. It's where church and state are left outside the door without, people having to compromise their alliances there, and they go in and, meet together as brothers of the lodge. It's nothing to worry about. Ooh, they're figuring things out. They're, they're working out their own hero deeds, because that's what a Lucifer figure would be, is working out their own hero deeds. But to people who have demonized the mere concept, heroic stuff has been done for us, all we have to do is say the word. I understand why these people would be so upset at the concept of Luciferianism. Lux et Nox, Nox et Lux.